Hey, it's time for the rebranding of America. Since so many people are upset that Indians are on butter and black people are on maple syrup and rice, hey, I have come up with the perfect solution. Let's put Donald Trump on everything. In fact, I think Aunt Jemima should become Uncle Don's. It'll be MAGA syrup. And I'm telling you, it's huge, it's the best, it's incredible. This is probably the most magnificent syrup like ever. So here is a question that I do have. Is the NAACP going to rename itself? Now, before you think I'm taking some type of white supremacist, racist rant, hear me all the way out. Black people have fought hard to make sure that we recognize them as people, not based on color, but as Martin Luther King said, the content of their character. And we know that in the 1960s, 1970s, there was a transformation in the way they wanted to be talked to, the way they wanted to be addressed. They didn't want to be called Negro. I understand that. They certainly didn't want to be called the other N-word, and they didn't want to be called colored. Yet the NAACP, and we're certainly not going to take anything away from their contribution to civil rights, but the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored Persons, colored people. Well, you would think while we're rebranding everything, because after all, we can't have Aunt Jemima, can't have Uncle Ben, pretty soon, Wendy won't be able to be white on the sign anymore. What are we going to do? Is Little Debbie going to be remarketed now as a street whore? I mean, where's all this headed? Seriously, where is all of this going? Because again, are we simply replacing one form of racism with another form of racism? Actor Terry Crews had something to say about this on CBS.
I compare that tweet to cussing in church, because what's wild is you have the message, but then if you use a cuss word, nobody's really hearing what you're saying. You know what I mean? The cuss word I used in this instance was black supremacy. And this is what I want to really, really reiterate to you and explain. My thing was, what I said was defeating white supremacy without white people could create black supremacy. And this is what I'm talking about. My thing is, in the black race, in black America, we have gatekeepers. We have people who have decided that who is going to be black and who's not. And I, simply because I have a mixed race wife, have been discounted from the conversation a lot of times by very, very militant movements, the Black Power movement. I've been called all kinds of things like an Uncle Tom, simply because I'm successful, simply because I worked my way out of Flint, Michigan. And the problem is, and this is the thing, the problem with that is that black people have different views. It's funny because when you're white, you can be Republican, Libertarian, Democrat. You can be anything, but if you're black, you have to be one thing. Even Joe Biden said, hey, man, you don't vote for me, you ain't even black.
Right.
And so this blackness is always judged. It's always put up against this thing. And I'm going, wait a minute, that right there, it's a supremacist move. You have now put yourself above other black people. And I'm trying to tell you, and then I got told it couldn't exist. And this is the deal. In 1994 in Rwanda, there was a genocide, and it was all black people. And there was one sector that viewed themselves as over the other. A million people died.
Yes.
And I was told it can't happen in America. And I'm here to tell you that's the first mistake. Anytime anybody says, oh, that could never happen here, that's when it starts to happen.
Do you regret using the term black supremacy?
I can't really regret it, because I really want the dialogue to come out. Maybe there's another term that might be better, whereas separatist or elitist or something like that. But the thing is that I've experienced supremacy even growing up. I've had black people tell me that the white man is the devil. I've experienced whole organizations that have viewed themselves because of the suffering of black people. They have decided that now we are not equal, we're better. And I think that's a mistake. I'm trying to tell you, just the mentality, what we're trying to do, I think a lot of times with the social and economic and political issues we have right now, we're providing those kind of answers. But this is a spiritual problem. Supremacy can't really happen, but spiritually it can. In your head, you can look at yourself and you can develop a dangerous self-righteousness that could really hurt what we're trying to do right now.
Boom.